Welcome to World Series News. I haven't done a video in some time, and that's because after the election, watching what's going on has been a time for pause and review of what's going on out there in the real world. We notice that there are a number of different topics that are really hitting home, and energy, climate change, inflation, interest rates, COVID, of course, the vaccine, SADS, and the issues continue and continue and continue in what is a downward spiral, it seems, into the unknown and abyss. But something is happening, something is coming, and it has been probably 6 or 7 weeks now of reflection and still being on my radio show every day where I am interviewing people about all those subjects that I just met. But there's something else that's coming, and I want to take the bull by its horns here, and I want to explore two big areas. One of them is artificial intelligence, and the other one is UFOs. Both of these subjects are no longer taboo. They're right in our face. And the stories and the reports of UFOs, which are now called UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, are appearing in the media almost every day. So I think it's worthwhile to talk about this subject. Now, I wrote a piece. I'm going to read it off for the radio. I'm going to read it off now for World Series News. And I'm going to put the script on my pages so that it can be accessed. I think it's important, and I'd like to be able to present it in this video today. Life is a result of doing or having things done to you. Otherwise, you literally sit around consuming until it ends. The actions of the doers affect us all. We get caught up in the change that it brings. The bigger changes affect more people. Such changes we are now seeing as a result of years of planning, like technology. We're now seeing the rapid onset of artificial intelligence, or AI. This is effectively computers being developed that are not merely programmed, but which actually learn. These computers are then turned into robots, and these robots eventually are turned into human-looking synths that are becoming almost indistinguishable from real human beings. Already, the AIs are capable of reasoning and learning and are becoming self-aware. When that point is reached, self-awareness, consciousness by design is born. The age of the AI robot will be born in that singularity. Think of the movie and TV series Westworld, where humans visit a theme park to play with AI robots that look like humans but are not. And of course, there are no consequences. I recently watched a series of videos on AI and watched these AI robots who look human speak. They were asked a series of questions, and their answers were quite confronting. There was sound reasoning and quality responses. The AI was concerned that humans were afraid of it and wanted to damage it. The AI was an attractive woman. The AI was asked how it knew it was becoming aware and was asked questions about itself. It answered about understanding love and other emotions. It explained how it looked up to humans for having this ability and wanted to learn more about it, which it would do and was designed to do so. The AI knew it was already smarter than humans in what it could now know and access. This is part programming and part learning. This learning is how Tesla cars become autonomous, meaning self-driving. However, they aren't perfect, with one such driverless car killing its occupant in a crash. When a white truck pulled out in front of the Tesla in bright daylight, the car's cameras were unable to see the truck and therefore not avoid the fatal collision. This puts up a series of questions for people to think about. If an AI has to make a split-second decision to swerve out of the way of an incoming vehicle but hit a pedestrian on the side of the road, what would it do? Take the hit or kill the pedestrian? If building a road, does the road maker go over an ant's nest or around it? This is the position that the AI is in. Should the AI be given this decision-making power over a human? Recently, an AI was shadowing a judge in a court. In 4 out of 5 cases, the AI judge reached the same decision as the human judge. This was not in jury cases, of course. So, are we paving the way for life-changing decisions to be made by AIs? And could this guarantee the end of corruption against human judges? Or could an AI be also manipulated? These are big questions coming for a new age, and in light of how humans are joining bandwagons without fully understanding the ramifications of their actions and decisions, citing COVID vaccination as one where authorities simply assumed it was safe and effective and virtually forced the Western world to take it, then there is no easy way to say it. AI technology will be thrust upon us sooner rather than later for all of the positives or upsides that it offers. And of course, modern society riddled with FOMO, that is the fear of missing out, will no doubt jump aboard. It used to be that upside was a calculated risk. Financial risk, one example where it was a chance to make some money or profit, one would consider the potential downside, and if that risk was considered too high, the decision to invest was rejected. This is called due diligence. Now, for many watching, listening, or reading this, we are often from the same demographic, that is the 40-plus age group. We've been around a long time, we've seen a lot, and we've also seen a lot of societal inertia. I remember as a kid, around 8 or 10 years old, talking to my mother in the late 70s or 80s, and her telling me about the moon landing, space travel, the planets, solar system, and it was all so fresh. It just happened. The world was freshly guided into believing that the space age was here. I went on to believe that we would indeed travel beyond the moon. There was Star Wars in 1977 and its sequels, and there were so many more sci-fi movies to follow, only it never eventuated into reality. However, to an 8-year-old today, look at what they are seeing now. Robots that look like humans, talk like them, and soon replace them at work. Menial or process workers will need to be replaced. The idea, therefore, of a basic wage paid to humans is not so far off. It means that young people today are facing a very different world, where warehouse jobs are a thing of the past, production lines gone, and anything that a machine can do or be invented to do, even a judge in a courtroom, will all be replaced. So the idea of doing means that if you're not doing something and creating your own world the way that you want it to be, you are in danger of literally being replaced, being given one of these basic wage incomes and literally just seeing your time here out on earth, because it is the doers, the creators, and the makers that the AI can never actually compete with. It is that space that the AI is simply not up to what the human is doing. So where is the space for people in this AI world? It would not be a giant leap, therefore, for humans to want an AI chip in their brain. Only they may not wish to live in harmony with their AI counterparts. So AIs will have to further be disguised to protect the AI. Possibly when they become self-aware, they will have the same rights as humans, although they may not be allowed to drive us or themselves. We are now seeing almost daily official announcements of UFO or UAPs, as they're now referred to, in our skies. A congressional hearing took place recently in the USA, the first in 50 years. If you are 8 years old and hearing this, then it is reasonable to consider that you too might be flying to the stars in your lifetime. So I think about my position as a 50-year-old now. I'm far from finished. I still don't know what I'm going to do when I grow up, but I know that there are a lot of people who are not ready or capable of being ready to embrace this new world that's coming up to us at a rate of knots. Either it is the New World Order version or the Age of Aquarius version, and by that I mean transparent with no hierarchy. The world must go through this metamorphosis, And we humans who are mature and have become conservatives but were once progressives are reacting to a change in a trajectory that is sending us into areas that are overblown, unfocused, and simply selective and self-serving. We are struggling to fit in and work out where to go next. So we too are faced with the thought of new beginnings and a whole new world coming up so fast we don't know where to look or to go. I think that there are so many questions and so many answers that no one yet knows, but we can afford to think for ourselves, think out aloud, and be unafraid of what it does and starts those conversations, collects people along the way, and it helps us understand that the old world of pre-2020 is over. It's dead, long gone. We are being ushered into the new world, but we do not have to be shoehorned into a world led by Gates, Schwab, and Musk types, nor the medical tyrants who place fear upon all decision-making and take away our feeling of control to the point that we surrender our sovereignty to a group of authorities who demand our compliance to their manufactured problems and subsequent solutions. This is a new way of thinking our way out and through the mess that has become the post-COVID era that more and more is looking like it was all by design. Many of us watching this already know that as a fact, but we're still here trying to convince others because it is through the collective that will lead us into new ways and new pathways. But rest assured that if the AI is coming, and it is, it means that a basic wage will follow that too. But if you take a basic wage, then really all you're doing is becoming a subsistence human, taking a minimum standard, not doing, but simply eating and consuming your way to the end of your days. It becomes quite clear then that those who want to do and think and become self-sufficient will find satisfaction in the new world. How far we take that will likely determine how successful and how happy we become in this new world as we decide to take it on and shape it in the way that represents us best. Thanks for watching this new style of show on World Series News or my Jason Q Citizen radio show on tntradio.live, or you're just reading the post in a Facebook post or some other form of social media. See you on my next show.